Hello everyone and welcome to the class. Today we are talking about the brand new Apple Watch. This is going to be a great tutorial video for any of you out there who have just gotten one and just need help with pairing it with your iPhone, getting familiar with it, learning how to navigate it. One thing I do want to make clear, this is not a review video. We are going to have a review. I just simply need a little bit more time to process my thoughts and I don't want to rush that kind of thing. So here it is without any further ado, our full tutorial video on the Apple Watch. Coming up next on PCClassesOnline.com. All right, everyone, the first step in pairing your Apple Watch with your iPhone is done from your iPhone. So if you haven't already done so, you do need to run the system software update just to make sure that you're brought to the most recent operating system. Just to review where that is, go into Settings, and from Settings, go into General, and from General, go to Software Update, and just make sure that you're current. Okay, and as long as you are on at least iOS 8.3, you should see an app that you can see there at the bottom of my screen called Apple Watch, and we're going to just simply tap on that right now. And there's a simple button that you're going to press that says Start Pairing. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to switch video feeds over to the Apple Watch. Now, there is no way for us to truly mirror the Apple Watch, so we have to kind of shoot this old school style. So please forgive me. And the first screen it's going to greet you with is just simply to ask what language. If you do need to scroll, you can either use your finger or you can use the digital crown on the side. We'll go over terminology in just a moment. Let me tap on English. And you can see there's a button there that says Start Pairing. Now, when you do that, watch what happens. It's going to put, basically, it's a kind of a fancy code. That is actually a code on the Apple Watch. And what you need to do is hold it just beneath your phone's camera. All right, so the two clearly now see each other. Depending on if this is your first time, it's going to ask you basically if you want to set up as a new Apple Watch or restore from a backup. I'll hit set up as a new Apple Watch. It's going to ask you, do you intend to wear this watch on your left hand or your right hand? For me, I use my left, so I'll do that. Terms and conditions. Of course, I know you're going to read that really, really thoroughly. Hit agree. And now what you're going to have to do is enter in the password to your Apple ID. I'm going to do this and just kind of blur out the screen. I'm actually going to black it out for a moment. Actually, I don't even need to because I have it saved. There we go. It's going to verify your Apple ID. And at this point, it's just going to kind of give you a couple of different things it's just going to put in front of you. Basically, this is just all to keep you entertained while it's actually setting up. It's going to ask you, do you want to send diagnostics automatically to Apple or not? I'll do not. And then if you want, you can have a passcode login. I don't know why you would want one. I'm going to hit don't add a passcode. You see that option at the very bottom. And now at this point, you can choose to either install every app that is on your phone that has a watch version of it available, or you can choose it later. My advice in this case is to probably just do install all. Originally, when I did this, I did choose later, and it ended up being easier to go through the ones that I didn't care about and uninstall them. So in my case, I would hit install all. And at this point, it's going to take a while to go through and set up. It will take probably at least 10 minutes, which it did for me at least last time I did it. So we're going to pause the video, and when we come back, we're going to go over the basic navigation as well as the terminology and review what the different buttons do. All right, everyone, so now that you have your Apple Watch set up, let's go over what the various buttons do and cover some very brief terminology. So here at the top right corner, we have what is called the digital crown. It's used for mostly scrolling. It does rotate. Okay, so let's say, for example, you were in the email program, you could use that to scroll through your various messages. It also presses inward. So, for example, if I'm on the watch face and I press it in, I go to my various apps, and I can use my finger and kind of float around the screen, and I can rotate with the digital crown to go into any of them. So if I do it in this case, what is that going into? Instagram. Very, very hard for me to see my watch, by the way, when I do this. So doing the best job that I can. So let's go back. Go back there. The other thing that this will do is if you press and hold it for 2 seconds, that will get you access to Siri, which is the automated assistant, same one that comes with the iPhone and the iPad. The only difference here is it will not talk to you, so it's just going to print text on the screen. Let's give it a shot. Let's press it in for 2 seconds. Siri, what is the weather going to be like this weekend? My apologies. I always call it Surrey, even though I know it's Siri. And there you go, we have the weather. So it's really handy for getting into different apps quickly. You can also use it to dictate. So for example, I could use it to send a text message. Let's do it real quick. Send a text message to Mark Collier. Hey man, how's it going? ? Don't respond, using the Apple Watch in a demo. And there you go. And so you can see here I can hit send and it will do that. Let's get out of that for now. Okay. The only other thing I want to mention that this will do also is if I double click this, it will go into the last app I was in. So in this case, it was composing a text message, and there we have it. And we're back on the watch. Now the next button we have here is it's called the side button. Very, very simple. It goes into your contacts, at least your favorite contacts. So these would be similar to your favorites on your phone. In fact, it is your favorites on your phone. And you can have, I believe it's up to, I want to say 11 of these. Again, very, very hard for me to see the watch as I am actually teaching this class. So if you have photos assigned to people, you can see the little preview photo of them. Okay, so you see all of their faces right there. Back to Mr. Collier. If you want to message them, just leave it on it. You can see it kind of goes into it. You see the phone icon on the left. We have the text icon on the right. And what's great is that when you go to send something like a text message, you can either do it as a written text message, or you can also use it as you can do an audio note, just like you can on your iPhone. The other thing I want to mention about the little side button here is if you press and hold it, that is also how you can get access to the shutdown option. So we have shutdown, and also we have a power reserve mode. Okay, so let's get out of that. Okay, some other little things you should be aware of is touch and force touch. So if I need to go into something, okay, sorry, let's go back to the app screen here. If I want to go into an app here, I can always just tap on it. So let's go into music for a moment. I just tap on it. Now, if I wanted to get into something a little bit more like the settings for this app, what you do in that case is a force touch. And with that, you just simply press with some force. And in this case, you can see I can tell it what source to play music from. So I could play it from any AirPlay speakers. I can play it from my phone, whatever I want. And then I can go into now playing. And every app has its own force touch menu. You just kind of have to really play with it and figure out what it is you want. So for example, if I go into the fitness app, okay, this part is pretty cool. If I press and hold on it, oh, that's right, I haven't activated on this one here because this is a brand new one for you. Forget that. But force touch, it's different for every single app, but if you need to get into settings, that's usually what you're going to do. A couple other quick features I do want to at least acknowledge. So on the back, we have a little sensor. This will shine a little green light into your wrist, and it will take your pulse. Very similar to the same technology you'll find in the Fitbit, at least the Charge HR as well as the Surge, which you may know I'm also a fan of. And also be built into the Apple Watch GPS as well as the accelerometer, which comes in handy when you're taking a run. Also, it's handy when you lift your wrist so you can view it. It will automatically turn on the watch face for you. Next thing I want to talk about is installing apps, and this process is done entirely through the iPhone. So let's again switch feeds and go back to the iPhone. All right, everyone, I want to talk a little bit about installing apps and some of the other settings, which are basically all configured through your iPhone. So let's go once again back into the Apple Watch app, okay? And to see what apps that you have that are on your phone that also have an Apple Watch available on them, you can just simply scroll down and you'll see that they're listed starting right there. So, for example, there's a version of 1Password that's available for the Apple Watch, Amazon, a few others that are here. Now, if I want, I'm going to interject for one moment my opinion on this. A lot of these apps that you see here I love on the iPhone, but frankly, not all of them I love on the Apple Watch, or I just don't frankly care to have them on my watch because it's just easier to use them through my phone. For example, Evernote, I love Evernote. I just don't have really a need for it in my Apple Watch. I already did this on that one, so let's go into B&H Photo. Great little company here. If you ever want to uninstall an app, there's a checkbox here, or a little notch here. Just uncheck it, and it will uninstall the app out of your watch. So you can go through here and find, what you want and keep it, and whatever you don't want, you can uninstall it. It's very, very simple. Now, if you want to explore other apps that you can download, that's where you can use either the featured or search options that you see there at the bottom right corner of my phone. So if we go into featured, it's just a special part of the App Store, okay? So I can kind of scroll through here. They have different categories. Again, we are recording this video today on the launch day, so there isn't a ton out there. If you compare it to what it's going to be like in, let's say, 6 months from now. We also have a search button, so if you want to search for a particular app, you can search away. Let's go back. I want to talk briefly about some of these different settings here. If you want to change the layout of the apps, that is all, once again, done here through the phone. So let's say I want New York Times to be sort of on the outer banks. I find it to be slightly easier to get into these apps if they're not right in the center. So what I would do is press and hold on the icon and just drag it wherever I want. Okay, so you can put them in whatever order you want. The only thing that you can't change is the clock. The clock has to stay in the very center, just like that. Let's go back. Airplane mode, you can switch it on either through the watch itself or you can do it through your phone. If you ever need to unpair your Apple Watch, that's what this option is right here. Okay. Notifications, you'll get notifications in your Apple Watch. We'll go over that in a little bit. Glances is similar to multitasking rather on the iPhone. So for example, if I go here, I can have very quick, easy access to these apps here. I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. Do not disturb mode is pretty much pointless, only because of the fact that you're going to have to charge your watch at night. It only has 1 day battery life. So by default, it will automatically take on the do not disturb settings from your phone. So it's just going to carry them over. Here in general, okay, you can find software updates for the actual watch itself. Automatic downloads means that your phone is going to, or rather your watch, is going to automatically search. And if you download a new app for your phone, it's going to look and see if there's a companion app for the Apple Watch. And if so, it will download it. If you decide, you know what, I'm not a lefty anymore, I'm going righty, folks, you can switch the watch orientation. For any of you out there with various types of disabilities, for example, if you have trouble with your vision, there are quite a few options you will see here in accessibility. For example, voiceover mode, zoom, a whole bunch of other options you'll see right here. Let's go back. Next, we have brightness and text size. Now, obviously, the brighter you have your watch, the lesser the battery life is going to be. I've only had this watch for 1 day. I had it at maximum brightness, and frankly, when I was outside, I needed maximum brightness in order to be able to see the screen. But it didn't seem to too dramatically affect the battery life, only because the accelerometer in the Apple Watch will detect when you lift your wrist. So it's not accidentally going off all the time. Text size you can adjust by using that little slide bar there. If you need bold text, you can turn that on. Going further, we have sounds and haptics. Okay, these are basically the different types of alerts. My advice is just to simply keep them, put all of these at the top level. In fact, I'd probably turn that on down there at the bottom. One of the handy features, no pun intended, that's good to know is, let's say your watch goes off because there's a phone call coming in. You can simply cover it with your hand, and after 3 seconds, it's going to mute it. Of course, the other trick I always like to teach my customers is if you have an iPhone in your pocket, if you hit virtually any button on the side, that will also mute it. And that's actually universal across every phone. If you hit any button on the side, it's going to mute it if it rings. Next here we have passcode options. I don't know anyone who would want a passcode on their watch just because it's so hard to enter, but if you, for whatever reason, want one, you can do it. We have health options, okay, where you can put in your birthday, sex, height, weight. Okay, this is just really handy for the various fitness apps. Let's go back. Privacy options. Don't think we really need to go into that. Activity options. So with this, you can have it show the activity in glances. And this is kind of a major part of the Apple Watch. It's trying to motivate you to get moving, folks. So it's pretty handy. You can have it give you updates every 4 hours. There's different achievements that you can earn. We're not going to really go into that right now. Clock options. You can have 24-hour time if you prefer. Okay. Let's see the other options we have right here. Contacts, friends, all this other good stuff. So with friends, you can have up to 12 of your favorite contacts listed right here. And again, it's just the people who you would be in contact with the most. Let's go back a screen. A few other options here. We can, I think we can skip through a lot of them. Photos, this part I find to be a little bit odd. So with photos, you can tell it to automatically sync an album to your phone, to your watch. I don't really see the use for wanting to show photos on a 1-inch screen when you have your phone in your pocket. But if you want, you can go into that option right there and pick what album you would like to sync. Reminders, we can go into that. Basically, with a lot of these various options, especially the ones I'm skipping over, it's basically by default mirror my iPhone. So if you have reminders that are set in your phone, it's just going to bring over those same settings to your watch. Okay, and that's basically that. Let's go back to the watch at this point and go over a few other items. The next two things we're going to talk about are notifications as well as glances. So notifications would be where you'll go when you want to see what emails have come in, as well as things like tweets, text messages, Facebook notifications, and all of those you get, it's basically the same as it works on the iPhone. You're going to swipe down on the screen. Now in my case, I have none because I just wiped my Apple Watch so I could do this demo video. If you want to get into glances, which is pretty handy as far as getting into the apps that you tend to use the most, you're going to swipe up from the very bottom. So for example, I can see maps, in that case, weather, calendar items I have coming up. This is the fitness app, which is interesting. We'll go more into this in my review video, which will come out within a few days from now. We have a manual way to take your pulse. So with this, it's going to be activating that green little light, okay, which goes into your wrist. It will give you pretty much instant results. Music controls, battery. And this one right here is very similar to Control Center on the iPhone. So for example, if I want to very quickly put my watch into airplane mode, we have Do Not Disturb mode with the little moon, and silent mode with the little bell with the line through it. If you can't find your iPhone, it happens to even the best of us, there's that last button you see right there. That is to ping your phone. So it'll have a little beep, 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 beep come out of your iPhone. So that's glances. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you how to set and change this watch face, because it comes with quite a few of them and they can be customized. So the way to do that is you're going to force touch, which again, you press and hold. Okay, so here you can see I'm in simple mode right here. We have modular, utility. Okay, there's actually a couple others here too. Motion, astronomy. Okay, so in the case of, let's use motion as an example here. They use this one a lot in the demo footage. I can go here into customize, and there are several different versions of this. Okay, so for example, I can scroll, okay, using the digital crown, and I can go from a jellyfish to a flower. If I do it again, I can have a butterfly. Okay, let's keep it on butterfly for a moment just so I can show you this. Now, you may also be able to notice there's two little dots you see right there at the top. That implies there are two different methods, two other different ways to modify this. So to do that, we're going to just simply swipe. Okay, and it has to do with this number right here. This is the date as of today. Again, this is launch day. So if I want, I can have just the number, or if I use the digital crown, oops, sorry, wrong way. There we go. I can have the day of the week as well. Okay, so that's basically how you tweak your watch face, just like that. Cool, right? And when you want to just solidify it, just tap on it again, and it's good to go. And what's cool with the butterfly one is it'll change colors over time. Next thing I want to talk about here is iMessages, okay? It's really, really cool for sending messages. So let's again pick on Mr. Collier right here. I told him ahead of time that he was going to get picked on, so let's tap on his little icon here. If I go to send him a text message, okay, there are a bunch of kind of standard phrases that you can put in here. There are others, you customize them through, there are others that you can add. So you can do that all again through the Apple Watch app on your iPhone. But you can also dictate with this little microphone, or you can add a little smiley face emoticon. So with this, you can scroll again using the digital crown. It has all sorts of different emotions here. And when you're ready to send, you can hit send. And by the way, it will animate on their end as well, no matter what device they're on. Kind of cool, right? Rather, any Apple device that they're on. I don't believe it will if you are trying to text an Android user. So that's how you do that. You can make and receive phone calls from your Apple Watch. Now, I tried this earlier today, and one little thing I want to mention, it is very hard to hear it. If you're outside, you're going to have your watch right up to your ear. So you may end up finding this to be more of a convenient feature when you're in a quiet space, but when you're out and about, it's much, much easier to use your phone. Well, everyone, that about wraps it up for me for today. If you haven't already done so, please consider clicking that little thumbs up like button. It helps other people out there discover our videos. Also, please consider clicking the little subscribe button right here. That will allow you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be notified whenever we come out with new content. And finally, before we go, if you have never heard of PCClassesOnline.com, we are a completely free public service. We have tech classes that we offer live every Wednesday and Saturday that can support up to 500 users. A lot of times we have people tuning in from all over the globe. They're a lot of fun. So please check out our website as well. This is David A. Cox with PC Classes Online. Class dismissed.